My name is Julie Fei-Fan Balzer, and I'm super excited today to show you how to make this cool cutout in your art journal. We're going to be using the Brother Scan and Cut and a little bit of know-how. I think you're going to like it a lot.
So the first thing that I'm going to do is choose pattern, and I'm going to use the built-in alphabets in the machine, and I'm going to choose the first one. And I'm going to type in my first few words, which are strive for, and this works exactly like a keyboard. There's a space bar, you choose your letters, and I'm simply going to hit OK. Then I don't want to change the spacing, I want to change the size of the letters. I'm going to make it as small as I can go, which is 3. I'm going to hit set. And then that's going to take me to a screen where I'm going to see it, but I want to add. So I'm going to go ahead and add the next part, which is the next word. And that add button is great because it means you can make some very complex things. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to resize it down to 3, hit set, and hit add again. And then I'm going to add the next 2 words, or it's actually, I think, 3 words. So once those are all added, I need to drag them into some semblance of how I want them. So simply a drag and drop. And now it's a little hard to see in this video, but there is a grid on the screen that helps me sort of line up what's happening. And so it's easy to drag and drop. Now, if you can't exactly get things placed, don't worry. I'm going to show you with like that little word not that I'm moving around. I'm going to show you how easy it is to get really picky with where things are. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to choose the arrow keys or what we want to use. So I've highlighted not, and now I'm using the arrow keys to just move it exactly where I want. I can zoom in to see if it's exactly how I want it. And then I can continue to fuss and play using the arrow keys to do very minuscule and tiny movements so that it's exactly the way that it looks, or exactly the way that I want it to look. Once it looks the way I want, I'm going to hit OK, and then I'm going to save it. And the reason that I'm saving it into the computer's memory is because I want to be able to pull it up again later. Why do that work twice, right? What if I want to use that phrase again? So I've saved it. Now I'm ready to load some paper. So I'm going to peel the protective sheet off my cutting mat. I'm going to place my paper down onto my cutting mat. And again, the grid that's on the mat corresponds to the grid on the screen. So I approximately sort of can see where it's going to go. I'm just rubbing my hand to adhere it to the adhesive that's on the mat, and I'm going to go ahead and load it in. Now, once that is loaded into the machine, the next thing I want to do is I want to scan it. And the reason I'm scanning it is because I want to make sure that there's perfect placement. And that's one of the things that I love about this machine is that it allows me to scan in the paper so that I can use tiny scraps, I can use little pieces, and I'll know exactly where I'm cutting every single time. So once it scans into the machine, I can see on the screen there's the paper, and I can see that I'm a little bit off. So I want to select all so that I can drag the whole group exactly where I want it to be placed. And once it's placed where I want it, then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit OK and OK again. And now on the next screen, I could hit save if I wanted to save it like that, but instead I'm just going to hit OK and go straight to the cutting. I'm going to choose cut. And then I'm going to press my start button. Now, before I press that start button, though, I have checked to make sure that my blade is set to the proper depth. Now, for me, this happens to be a 5. It may be different for you depending on your machine, depending on how old your blade is, depending on what paper you're using, but it's going to go ahead and cut it out. So once it has finished cutting, I simply hit OK. And I can hit the home button and OK again, and I'm ready to do whatever's next. But now it's time for the super fun part. I'm going to unload my map from the machine, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to peel up my cut and see it. I always find this part really exciting. It's like the great reveal because it just looks so cool and you can't believe how quickly it gets done, you know? It's kind of amazing. Strive for progress, not perfection, a very good motto. And don't forget about all the little letters that are left over. I'm going to save those and use them on another project, so nothing goes to
The first thing I'm
waste.
going to do is trim down the cut that I have here. So I've got my paper trimmer out, and I'm not measuring, I'm just eyeballing, you know. I just want to trim so that it's pretty close to being all around the edge. Pretty close is a very exact measurement, but it's, you know, what feels or looks good to your eye. I wouldn't do less than like a 1/4 inch because you're going to need a little bit of space, but you know, something that feels relatively close. Okay, so once I've trimmed that down, then I have it, and this is my art journal. And you could use, my art journal happens to be made of lots of pages that are already, oh, by the way, this is I just flipped past it. Here you go. This is the technique that we're doing now, just done with some cursive on black cardstock, and you can see it says, attention is the rarest and purest form of generosity. Very cool. So we're going to do this, but on a smaller scale right here, and I'm going to insert this into the page. So this is really simple to do. I basically need now, this is a pencil, and I actually think I'd rather have a pen. What I'm going to basically do is figure out, where do I want this on the page? Do I want it right in the center? Do I want it near the top? I think I want it actually near the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to trace around it with my pen. And you know, this is my art journal. I'm not that worried about it being exact or clean or neat or anything like that. And I even managed to scribble a little bit on the edges, but don't worry, it's not really going to show. Then I'm going to take, this is a craft knife. This happens to be a retractable craft knife. So you see the knife comes right out like that. Then I have a cutting mat, and I'm going to put my cutting mat behind here. And then I'm simply going to, cut right on these lines. And you know, if it's not 100% straight or 100% exact, who cares? C'est la vie. We're just having a good time, you know what I mean? Everything is repairable, fixable, redoable. Life is about making mistakes and then recovering from them. At least that's what I keep telling myself. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to keep cutting until I cut out this rectangle. I think I've got it now. Oop. And if there's anywhere that didn't quite cut out, just go over it again. Sometimes it takes more than one cut, especially this is a lot of layers of tape and paint and stuff that are in here. So if you're using like plain paper, it may be a little less long. This is also a great idea if you don't want to do it in your art journal. You know, you could take an existing notebook or something like that and put the little message inside. It could even be like a school notebook that you use or something like that. I think that could be cool. Leave a surprise inside, a note to yourself at some point. There you go. That's very thick, and you can see one of the layers didn't come all the way away, but with a little bit of encouragement, I can get that to come away too. Okay, so now I have this great big hole. And you can see that my hole goes all the way through, which is just what I wanted. And it should be the exact size of this thing that we cut. Strive for progress, not perfection. A very good mantra in life. And it is. It's exactly the right size. So now I'm going to take some washi tape. You could take any tape that you would like to use. And I'm going to go ahead and just tape this into place. So I'm putting half the tape onto the perfection quote and half of it onto the art journal. And I'm basically just going to do this all the way around the edges. And if the tape goes over, I just wrap it around. You could use, again, different colors and patterns will have a very different look. It's just up to you what you want. And this tape was a little bit short, but again, strive for progress, not perfection. So I'm just patching it with another piece right there. And I like it, the look of it, where the tape sort of overlaps and crosses, but you could be very neat with a pair of scissors if you wanted. So you're going to do it on one side, but you also want to do the same thing on the other side as well to really make sure that it's secured in there. If you wanted, you could switch the tape that you're using to a different color or something like that. That could be fun, or a different pattern. It just depends what you like and what you feel like. What you like and what you feel like, baby. So, and again, this is one of the reasons that, like, if you sliced anywhere accidentally too much, and here you go, I'm just gonna patch that up, then the tape is sort of gonna fix everything. I swear to you, I use tape to fix virtually everything in life. I think tape is a really, really, really good invention. Okay, so I'm just gonna continue it around. I'm gonna wrap this little piece around, and voila! There you go. In no time at all, I have this beautiful insert right in my art journal. Strive for progress, not perfection. And I can't wait till I get to this page and I'm ready to finish it up. But I think it's fun to have these messages inside. So I hope that you'll give this idea a try.
Thanks so much for joining me. I hope that you'll visit my blog for more information at balzerdesigns.typepad.com. And for more information about the Scan and Cut, please visit scanandcut.com.